So let's look at the second problem here that you had for homework. Not that complex, but a little bit tricky with how the symbols are, operations. Again, let's start by writing 32 as a prime, in terms of a prime base. So remember, 32 equal sign, shift that button, and then this is obviously 2 to the exponent 5, all raised to that times this is not really a big deal. You can decide to write 9 over 4 ahead. In fact, it will not be useful to do that. What you can just do here is to bring in the exponents maybe and have your 2 squared there. Now this is all divided by, in other words, you've got this now. Now you can simplify this, guys. The square root, this whole thing, this thing alone becomes the square root of 81 over the square root of 16. But the square root of 81 is a 9, and the square root of 16 is a 4. So you've got 9 over 4. Now, let me just put it here, 9 over 4. But this thing will actually be handled by this, because 3 squared is a 9, 2 squared is a 4. So you can see right away that actually this thing here is going to manhandle that. And our final answer then, or the last step that we're going to have, we will now be left with 2 to the exponent of 5 times 3 over 5. But then those 5s take care of each other. So 8 is your final answer. The nice thing about this one is you can punch everything in your calculator to verify the truth here. Now, what you need to watch out is, even if you use a calculator, you may only get 1 mark for the final answer. You will definitely lose a mark for not having this step here, and obviously for not doing that simplification. So I'm just saying the calculator should just help you to verify your answer when there are no variables in the expression. But if there are variables, of course, you'll find it very difficult to do that. Just use a calculator to help you with prime factorization. All right. Let's look at the third problem, and then we can close it before we move on into another concept around exponential expressions or exponents and sets. So I've got here another nice one, xy to the exponent of a half times x to the exponent of minus 3. You can see it is raised to that. Let me just not bore you by repeating this entire thing. But what I'll start off by doing, of course, you can see there are x, y, which are bases. So you want to put the x's together and the y's together. That way you will have simplified the expression. So we're going to have x to the half here, y to the half, times x to the exponent of negative half. I hope you can see that. And negative 3 times a sixth is actually a negative half, because 3 goes once into 3, but twice into 6. Then we've got x again to the exponent of 3 over 2 times y to the exponent of 3 over 2. All over x to the exponent of minus 10 over 4, but that can actually be simplified. So let me just simplify it right away. It simplifies into minus 5 over 2. Once again, it's the same thing that we did with the other x in the numerator. Now, guys, the next thing that I'm going to do, and this is where you guys get caught, most often, because we have fractions in exponents now, as exponents rather, people want to multiply out the fractions. I don't know why. You've got to notice that the same law still applies. You've got to add up those fractions. So I'm going to take everything that has an x and put it here. X to the half, this is the x that I'm talking about. Then the next thing is x to the minus half. My bad, I should not actually put an x there, because I just want to clean up. So minus half, all the x's together. Notice what I'm doing here. All the x's put up together. There's a 3 over 2 is a positive, so I must add it. Now this one here, I'm taking into the numerator, so it's going to become a plus 5 over 2. So all the x's are together. Let me see, I have 4 exponents, and guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bases that are an x. Next thing that I'm going to do, maybe I should pick a different color here, is to deal with the y's. And y's, I've got 1, and then I've got 3 over 2. That's it. 3 over 2. I think Just make it just a little bit clean. There we are. Then finally, if I were to clean up, this is a half minus a half. You can see they take care of that. Now, bases are the same, denominators are the same here. You just got to add up. This is 8 over 2. But 8 divided by 2 is 4. So you can see x goes to the exponent of 4 there. That's what everything reduces to. And then y goes to 4 over 2 is a 2y squared. That's your final answer. Of course, this is not the only way to do this. Some of you, I know, would have realized that, well, from right here, you could have actually canceled out. That is still perfect with me. If you canceled that out, if you saw that, thumbs up, very good. Then you know you've got to only deal with those and those. That's perfectly fine. The nice thing about this is we would have arrived at the same answer. So folks, I hope you can now do number 4 and 5 confidently. Like, you can assess yourself, see if you've made mistakes or so. As for me, I'll leave it here. In the next video, we start by looking at more complicated examples now, where there are plus and minus signs included. And I hope you will tune in. Cheers.